Five books with aliens. Number 5. Sphere, Michael Crichton. Sphere is a psychological thriller concerning a large alien sphere found in a spaceship detected at the bottom of the sea. The few characters must cope with increasingly unusual circumstances as the capabilities of the sphere become apparent. It bestows psychic powers able to reshape reality itself. Although no aliens appear directly in this novel, Crichton does have the protagonists encounter alien technology and they muse over how unrealistic the casual human idea of an alien must be. Aliens composed of gases, aliens who communicate using odors, and aliens on another plane of existence entirely are thoroughly discussed in this thought-provoking piece. The apes or angels hypothesis is encapsulated well in a discussion of how perhaps the sphere was intended by aliens as a test for humanity. One character replies that an insect might find itself caught between gears in a human machine and muse that the machine was intended as a test of its intelligence, when in reality the levels of intellect are so different that the insect was never even considered when the machine was made. Likewise, any aliens we ever encounter are unlikely to be at a technological or mental level similar to our own. They will be primitive animals, apes, or so advanced that they will effectively be angels. Number 4. They're Made Out of Meat, Terry Bisson. The team of explorers in this comical short story are not directly described, except it is implied that they are plasma-based, as is the norm for galactic life. They are both amused and baffled to discover that on one planet, Earth, life is made of meat. To them, the notion of thinking, talking meat is beyond the ridiculous. In the end they decide to simply ignore the weird abominations and pretend the galaxy is empty, safe in the knowledge that creatures made of meat could never travel beyond their own solar system and discover the truth. This wonderful story provides a strong glimpse into the eyes, or equivalent receptive organs, of aliens aghast at how disgusting and unusual humans appear to be, whilst comically giving a reason as to why no aliens have ever contacted us. Number 3. Douglas Adams. This trilogy of humorous and whimsical books details the travels of Arthur Dent, a fairly ordinary human from Earth who is whisked away into the wider ridiculous galaxy. Many of the huge variety of aliens in this series are given amusing explanations, such as the Jatravardids who have 50 arms and therefore developed underarm deodorant before the wheel. Although most aliens in this entertaining series could be viewed as basically human with only a few changes made, there are several that really stand out as bizarre. The Haluvo is a super-intelligent shade of blue which can exist in 2 dimensions and be manipulated by light refraction. There are also the fallen albino marsh worms, who consume hallucinogenic gases from their marshy habitats. Upon death, their stiffened bodies can be smoked like cigarettes, invoking feelings first of exquisite bliss, then admirable curiosity, and finally mild hunger, although only as your brain explodes. Lastly, the infamous Babelfish consumes unconscious brainwave frequencies and excretes them again in a form understandable to the speech centers of the brain. When stuck in the ear, they serve as a universal translator, and are at one point used to disprove God, who obligingly ceases to exist. Number 2. The Shadow Out of Time, H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft is famous for his peculiar and horrific depictions of non-human life. In this work of his, he describes the Ythe, an alien race capable of switching minds with other life forms in different parts of time and space. Using this capability, they have amassed a great library of knowledge, and are able to avoid the destruction of their species at least once by mentally transferring their entire populace into the unsuspecting bodies of other beings, whose own minds are likewise swapped into the Ythian bodies only to die shortly afterwards. The bodies of the Ythe, therefore, are not their original bodies, but are nevertheless wonderfully alien. They are cone-shaped, tapering to a narrow neck at the top supporting a head encircled by eyes allowing vision in all directions and several types of tentacles which they use to manipulate objects. The ultimate fate of the Yith is never revealed, for they are always able to safely project themselves through time and space whenever their species is threatened with extinction. Number 1. Solaris, Stanislaw M. Sophic Peace explores how the fundamental differences in consciousness between humans and aliens would prevent meaningful communication. Space explorers come to a planet that is covered with a single enormous creature resembling a planet-wide ocean. They attempt to communicate with it or even just understand it but are met with constant disappointment. The titular ocean creature itself seems to be curious about the humans, but perhaps thinks and reasons in a more psychic way. It probes the human consciousness, finding weak points in the form of repressed and distressing memories, and replicates these in an attempt to observe or perhaps test the reaction of the humans. The main character, Kevin, finds his dead wife suddenly recreated and is deeply unsettled when he realizes that this phenomena is the work of Solaris. Other characters are visited by their own troubled pasts and ghosts, and the humans gradually begin to realize that their own minds are flawed and not at all understood, making understanding a truly alien mind impossible. The entire expedition results in a distressing and utter failure,